Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? What's the difference between these sentences? Let's take a closer look at word stress in American English pronunciation. You may have studied pronunciation before, but still you think that your speech sounds a little bit different than a native speaker. One of the biggest differences could be that English is a stress-timed language and the language you speak is not. We've talked about this in a previous video, but English is stress-timed. That means that words that are stressed are usually held longer, have a slightly different pitch, and are more noticeable in sentences than words that are not stressed. Compare this to a language like Italian or Spanish. In these languages, which are syllable-timed, every syllable gets about equal weight. It's pronounced for about the same length of time. In English, this is not the case. If a word is stressed, it's held longer. If a word is not stressed, it's said more quickly. Now, you can change the stress in a sentence by adding extra stress to really any word if you want to give it extra emphasis. That's what we're going to be doing today. Let's take a look at a sentence, change the stress for different words, and see how the meaning changes. Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? Heaviest stress word here is lives. This is probably the most standard pronunciation. The last content word, lives, gets the heaviest stress, so it's also going to be the word that's held the longest and it gets the most attention. Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? Notice here, now we're putting extra stress on the you. This means that I'm really asking the specific person, do you right there, do you know where he lives? It's more important the fact that I'm asking you. Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? Now I'm adding extra emphasis to he, not anyone else. I'm not worried about the woman walking down the street. I'm not worried about your mom. I'm asking about he. Do you know where he lives? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? In this case, notice now I'm using a falling intonation. So instead of lives, I'm saying lives. In this type of situation, maybe I've asked this question 2 or 3 times and the other person is just not understanding me. Do you know where he lives? No, not like eats. No, not sleeps. Lives. Do you know where he lives? There's other ways you could play with the intonation too. Do you know where he lives? Do you know where he lives? Notice again here I have a falling intonation on lives, but I'm placing extra emphasis on the no. Do you know where he lives? Maybe I've asked this question 2 or 3 times and this person's just not getting me an answer. They're like, well, maybe. And you're getting annoyed. You're like, look, do you know where he lives or no? Do you know where he lives or no? I can ask someone else. Okay, so this is expressing a little bit of frustration. So again, this is just a quick exercise to show how stress and intonation can be used in one sentence to change the meaning entirely. Each version of this has a slightly different meaning than the last, even though the words are exactly the same. Have other videos that you would like to see in the future? Feel free to post them in the comments. Thank you guys for your time. We'll see you in a future video.